like, do all those pillows get removed before the burn happens, like just to ensure that it's like there's no like hazardous like chemicals being burned and stuff like that? Because I know we also mentioned like speakers and like lights are going to be in the temple, and I was just kind of wondering about like what the strike process was like, and that might be getting ahead of where we're at right now, but yeah, I was just curious about that.
I'm happy to respond, and then team, feel free to jump in and add more context to this response. So first of all, welcome. We're so excited that we've got a virgin on the call who's joining Burning Man and who is curious about the temple, who's on this call. I really cherish you. And we have many, many resources. There are so many people who I already see here who've created guides for virgins and who support virgins. So we're here to help you. We're here to support you and your experience. Specifically about LNT. LNT is a mindset. It's a mindset that has already begun. It's a mindset in how we build, in our pre-build, at the loom. It's a mindset in how we build on playa. It's a mindset in how we prepare the temple to be burned. And then it's a mindset as we clean up the temple. So the short answer is that there are processes in place for every step of the way to ensure that we're honoring that value. And I think you asked a tactical question around the removal of items that are not flammable, et cetera, from the temple. So there's a process where the temple is closed, actually, prior to it being burned. And our temple crew goes into the temple and removes items that are not flammable and prepares it for a successful burn. So there's a lot of love and beauty that goes into our leave no trace approach. And we have a phenomenal team of humans who are thinking about that already and establishing processes. And we as a crew consider ourselves to all be stewards of L&T. And I think Rand is sharing a spot with some great advice for virgins. Thank you, Rand.
Thank
so I hope
you,
that
guys.
begins to answer your question. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Can I just jump in with two real quick things for virgins? Okay. Yeah,
Please
so I'm so excited for your first experience out there on the playa. It's going to be amazing. Your mind's going to be blown. The first thing I want to say is that you can find most of the things on the Burning Man website that you would ever need, but the real human connection that will get you through the experience is something you have to take proactive responsibility for. So reaching out and creating the connections that you'll need, creating the sort of like lifeblood mycelial network is the real key to like staying mentally sane in such an incredible, intense, mind-blowing, lovely, beautiful, grief-filled, and overwhelming experience. So really take responsibility for that and bring your humility. You know, like I guarantee you, if you've never been, you have no idea what you're getting into. If you've been 10 times, you have no idea what you're getting into. Every year is different. Every challenge that you face is like you can't step into the same river twice. The other thing that I want to say is bring extra socks. Literally everything else that you could want or need, somebody will gift you. Nobody is out there giving you socks. So bring enough water and bring enough socks and bring your humility and you'll be good.
Beautifully said. Thank you. I'm going to buy some socks and gift them on playa, y'all. This is inspiring me.
There's one question I wanted to answer that was in the chat, which was for the first kickoff, should we bring any tools, anything that we need to keep in mind, parking? So no tools required for the first weekend. We will let you know when we need tools from you and what kind of tools to bring. So that's one. Two, there is a parking map that we have shared in our email as well as on our Facebook event page, which shares where you can park. And we do request to be very mindful of where you park because there are other art projects and businesses in the neighborhood that also use the parking spots right outside of where our build space is. So those are a few things we would like y'all to keep in mind. And again, like if any other questions are on kickoff, Jen and I are available to answer.
I just want to tag on real quick. Thank you, Ajesh, for that. All of this is also on the FAQ. So we're trying to make it so that there isn't 5,000 places for us to update everything. We're hoping to make this FAQ your one-stop shop. So please make that your little Bible, make a little bookmark for it. I also wanted to shout out one of the questions that I also answered in the chat, but people are asking if basically you can't make it to Playa or you are not in the Bay Area every single weekend, it doesn't matter. Please feel free to come. You don't have to RSVP in advance. If you are on Facebook, it's wonderful if you can click attending so you can plan for the number of folks that will be helping build that weekend. But if not, just show up and be ready. We're there 10 to 5 p.m. Come 30 minutes ahead of time so you're on time for the briefings. I think I saw David had his hand raised. David, did you want to ask your question? I'll ask you to unmute there. Oh, David, I think you're still on mute. Just try that again. Let's see here.
Am I there?
There we go. Yes, we can hear you now.
We can hear you.
I've been filling out this application for volunteer, and I'm not sure, I never got a response. And you know how that little round thing goes round and round? Well, after 12 hours, it was still going round and round after I hit send. So how do I know, will I get a response from that?
So David, when you hit send on that, if it went through, you should get, it should take you to a website saying, thank you for submitting the form, we'll be in touch. If you didn't get that, I'll just take this offline. I will check our database and see if we've gotten your form, all right? And I'll message you in the chat if we haven't.
Okay, yeah, I haven't, okay.
Okay.
I haven't got anything yet.
All right. And just for everyone's notes, we are working on trying to automate some of the emails. Unfortunately, we can't individually respond to everybody, but basically by filling out the form and then you have your interests checked off, as we have needs and opportunities for those interests that you've checked off, we will be emailing folks with that. So if you've checked off things like helping with like the nutritious foods for pre-build, we haven't gotten to that point yet. So you won't hear from us yet, but if you've checked off things like design, website, social media, we might have some emails these days for you.
Okay, gotcha.
Great. And then I see Stephen has a question. I'll just ask you to unmute. My buttons aren't working.
Hi, great. Yeah, hi. I know Ken Rayhort's on this call or Zoom as well. We're both technical advisors with RAT, and I was just curious, is the intent to be solar again this year? I know we were last year.
I'll go ahead and answer that. And I know we also have Peter Platzgrummer from the Ops Summit. So yes, the answer is yes. So the intent is to continue the process that was initiated last year and be solar.
Great. And I also saw a question in the chat that I was hoping we could also answer with everyone. And that question was from, let me find this. It's from Aaron Williamson. I'm just scrolling through the chat right now. Or maybe, where did it go? There was a question about, yes. Aaron was asking, I'm planning to build a community lantern that's mentioned on the website. I'm wondering about lighting. Should I be looking into electrical or solar powered lighting?
Thank you for asking that question. So this is a topic that we are really looking forward to addressing in our next town hall. So I'm so glad you prompted this. Two things that we'd like to say. Number one, we want to kick off our lighting team in the next month. So if you haven't already submitted a volunteer form, but you're interested in lighting, either because you want to make lanterns yourself or you want to help create a template that supports anybody in creating those and putting their wishes into the temple, then please submit your volunteer form, because this is when we're going to start that process. To Jen's point, this is where we're at in the sequencing with lighting. Same thing goes with textiles. So if you're really passionate about textiles and the idea of joining the team or leading the team around making prayer pillows, sourcing sustainable fabrics for the drapery that we'll have in our central chapel, if any of that speaks to you as part of really creating the atmosphere that we want inside of a temple, please make sure to submit a volunteer form. So we'll answer that question more specifically when we have that team in place and when we've created templates. But yes, we will do everything we can to make all of the lighting as energy efficient and sustainable as possible.
That's fine. Kind of thought so. I just wanted to check what was on my mind.
Thank you. What other questions do you have?
We have Sybil raising her hand.
Yeah, can I ask another question if that's okay?
Of course.
I was curious. So there's like I guess everybody's invited to pre-build and also on-site build. Is that how it works? Like if people can come early and help build, are they like welcome to, or is it like more limited? Because I'd imagine there's a lot going on.
So you mean in terms of on Playa versus at the Loom?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I can take a first pass at answering this, and then Sparkle, feel free to jump in as well, because I know this is something that we've talked about. So the way that we think about it is our pre-build process is really extensive, right? It's several months long, and we're at the Loom. And if we think about last year, up to 1,000 people will participate in person at pre-build. And so it's a totally different scale. When we get out to Playa to reassemble everything that we've pre-built and shipped out, that's a core crew of about 100 people. And so that's a crew that's carefully selected from the people who have been supporting the pre-build, right? The people we've been getting to know, in order to efficiently and safely prepare the temple that we've all built. So it's a very strategic thought process of, okay, who are the humans that we need and exactly when? Because you also want to be mindful of people's energies. It's a very long time to be out on Playa building. And we go and we look at the volunteer spreadsheet. We look at all of the teams. We look at the leads. We try to understand the sequencing that needs to happen to efficiently reassemble the temple. And then we invite specific individuals to support us in doing that in order to achieve that objective of opening the temple on time, opening it safely, and opening it with joy, and having that process be in flow for the whole team. And so just to think about the scale, right? That's 1,000 people in the pre-build. It's only 100 on Playa. So there's sort of a process that we move through in making those decisions. Sparkle, anything to add on that front?
I think of it as a Broadway stage production. So Act 1 is in Oakland. Act 2 is going to be the event. And right now, switching, I think that thing is what you're talking about, from Act 1 to Act 2, where everybody runs out. That's carefully choreographed.
Beautifully said. All right, let me look in the chat to see if we have some questions. Lucas, I see your question for the build carpentry team. I only have so many days in the Bay Area to help. Do I need to sign up or just show up when I'm able? So just to yes, you can absolutely show up when you're able. If you're able to sign up, what it helps us do is plan for things like food and safety equipment and just space needs. And so it's a yes and. If you're able to sign up early, it gives us more runway to better support your experience. But we're also huge champions of spontaneity, and you're always welcome. Consider the Loom your second home. You're welcome anytime.
I just want to add on to Caroline's comment. It reminded me that we typically do have a little bit of additional personal protective equipment on site, but we recommend everybody please bring your own. So those are 3 things. You've got earplugs, you've got safety glasses, and you've got work gloves. So those things, please bring your own. There are very limited extras on site, but please do bring them for yourself. And I see that No Breaks Wiley has also raised their hand. Do you want to ask a question? Let me just ask you to unmute.
Hi, thank you. I was trying to type it out. Hi, family.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hey, so
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I am super excited to be a part of the magic. And I know I'm not the only person, and I don't know if it's been discussed yet, but has there been any thought given towards I hate to even say it because people get whiplash and they deconstructing any parts of the temple to pay it forward, be it hardware or lumber, for the next temple to use? Has there been any idea or thought
Mhm.
to build an effigy, or instead of burning the entire temple when it's burn day?
I'd
Just
like to
a
raise my
thought.
hand on that one, Carolyn.
Mm.
Sparkle,
So
please.
we are inherently frugal with Temple. So yes, we do go in there and we take out all the hardware because that gets very expensive. So we take that out and reuse it for the next year. We're busy doing an inventory right now of all that hardware. The wood, the goal is to burn the wood. Sometimes people take pieces home. But in general, we burn all the wood.
Okay, I think green on a very large scale. Anyway, thank you
get
for
it.
your answer.
One
Thank
thing
you.
I'll
See
add to
you
that
guys.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're so. We also,
Mm.
of course, remove the lighting and the electrical components, and anything that's not flammable and anything we can pass on to the next team, so that we are just maintaining the legacy of being intentional with the resources, and to Sparkle's point, being frugal. We've inherited a number of resources from the previous temples, and we intend to pass resources on to the next ones.
And then along with that,
Awesome.
I will also say that if you do not have a power tool and you think you need to buy a power tool, instead of buying a battery operated tool, we highly recommend borrowing it from a friend, because one of the impacts that we will remind people during our kickoff as well, is a lot of the lithium, there's like a huge lithium mine that they're trying to build right next to Burning Man. And it really impacts like the the land, the water, but also like the Paiute that live there are directly impacted because it's their ancestral home that they're building it on. So instead of buying a new lithium battery, we highly recommend borrowing it from a friend, and or like seeing if someone else has one that you can share with, but don't buy a new one if you can avoid it.
Thank you, Ajesh. Anybody else have any other questions before we wrap? Did we miss anybody's questions? We want to make sure that we're here and being responsive. And thank you so much for all of you who are still here. I recognize that we're 9 minutes past the hour. So if you need to run, feel free to run. I'm going to hang back for a few more minutes and answer more questions. Bye, Spanx. I see you leaving us. Thank you for sharing about the Temple Guardians. We love you. Thank you. Thank you for your work and your love.
It is an absolute honor and a privilege. Yeah, everyone, if you want a new family, please come join Temple Guardians. We would love to have you. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. See you
Thank
next month,
you.
if not before.
See you next month. So yeah, feel free to hang back if you have other questions. Otherwise, we will say our goodbyes for now, and we'll see you on the 24th of next month. We will have kicked off our fundraise by then. We want to say thank you again so much to all of you who've proactively supported us in getting some of the tools that we need and prepaying for some of the like rent and things that we have to pay for already for Temple at the Loom. So thank you so much for those contributions on our website. They mean the world. We'll be sharing what we're using every dollar for, so you understand what it's going towards in the immediate. And we'll talk about this again on the fundraising campaign page. So it's very transparent, very visible. But just so you know, right now, our primary focus is sourcing materials and getting set up. So that's doing things like paying for our shop space and paying for critical equipment to have our volunteers safely begin to build the temple. Alrighty. Have an awesome day. Regardless of your time zone, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We love you. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
There's gotta be someplace.
Hey, Glitter Kitty, C Rex.
Hey. Hey, C-Rex.
Hey, when can I have 10 minutes of your time? Because some of the things I've been trying to message you about, I'd love some answers on so that I can move forward with some things.
Why don't we stay on the line at the end if that works for you? Or otherwise I can ping you when we're wrapped here and then we can just hop on. Does that work for you?
Okay, I can stay on. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Oh, thanks, Alton. I see some familiar faces hanging back from last month. It's so fun. We got our hang crew again. You're so welcome, Matt. Bye. Yeah, if any of you feel like you have other questions that we haven't addressed, like feel free to share. We do our best to try to articulate like what is going on each month, right? You know, each phase of this has different priorities. So hopefully that was helpful. I noticed someone started asking a question, but I can't see who it is. Let me see. Scroll.
I was just gonna say, Uncle Buck was there for a moment. I was just gonna say hi.
That works too. Martin is asking, how safe is the parking in the Oakland area? Ooh, who wants to take that one?
I'll take it.